Hello, and welcome to the Aftershow for Shadowrun Roll4It episode 13, I think. Some stuff happened this episode. You got ambushed by number 6 and a small group who were actually going to attack the village, but hey, you met them first. You've headed towards Cadnam. You found a couple of interesting vans that looked like they were maybe an extraction idea for whoever owned them. But sadly, this is Shen's last session. At least as a main cast member. Obviously, you know, you're welcome to come back as a guest. Yeah. Hopefully Gatto will live on and get an opportunity to come back and join people.
If you had to leave, how would you want to leave Gatto?
I think the first session of Shadowrun had a pretty good way to end. Getting blown the hell up, but surviving, and then being taken to some top secret compound. That was kind of cool.
Ooh, I like that. That would kind of easily fit in with the theme that we got going on. People are stealing people stuff. I like it. Look at E's face. He's like, oh, the clock's working.
I'm expecting driving a car off the cliff. Or off a cliff. I don't know if there are any cliffs. You can put a cliff in.
Can't put a cliffhanger anywhere.
There's a bomb in the car and he's got to drive it away to save us all. It's a nuclear bomb. It's going to blow up the socks all over again.
The martyr.
So he drives into a chasm and sacrifices himself to save us all.
We think he's dead. We think the explosion happened and that he died in it.
But really, he got into a fridge at the last minute and survived.
Turned out the bomb was actually just a stack of tennis balls. People are just paranoid.
So, what was your favorite moment, Shen? Through all the series?
Oh boy.
I think my favorite Shen moment has to be the Jacaro.
I was gonna say the Jacaro, but
yeah.
There you go. It's certainly a fun one. it had a lot of reaction from the viewers.
I think it is the ultimate Shen moment.
It was so devious. I didn't expect it to be devious. I was like, oh yeah, you're just wanting like Eric's character going to the back to look at some wounds. It's not that bad. Oh well, maybe you just misheard me when I said the wound wasn't bad. Whatever. Sure. Okay.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
It's so devious. So
and it worked too.
Maggie doesn't know this. Shen, do you want to explain to Maggie and anyone watching who doesn't know what the Jacaro moment was?
Okay, well, Splat can probably help me out with this, but basically, I was playing a character who was extremely... What is a hardliner? What kind of word would you use?
Yeah, puritanical.
Puritanical,
just a really puritanical, just like, you know, hardcore conservative inquisitor, essentially.
And he was... To the word that you should never have anything to do with Xenos of any kind. In fact, the only good Xeno is a dead Xeno. So we had this Xeno around, and the moment we saw him, the Xeno was just constantly like filling with our shit. And at some point, our esteemed friend here, Splat, he was like doing some weird mind merging stuff with the Xeno to like talk to him, communicate with them better, because he didn't really understand our language or anything like that. So because of this mind thing going on, every time that, and I was keeping track of this too, every time that our team tried to get in contact with Splat, there was always like, huh, what are you talking about? Like he wasn't fucking paying attention. So obviously having this Xeno round was affecting him mentally. And my character's like, that thing's got to go. That thing's got to go. Nope, it can't be around it. Gotta go. And eventually it just came to the point where it's like, okay, well, there's a good time to do it. Look, he's distracted again. Hello, wave your hand in his face. Doesn't even see you anything. Yeah, we're going to kill this thing now. And we killed it. And happy day.
I took insanity points.
Yeah, Splat was connected to its mind as the alien mind died with him connected to it.
It's surprising how frequently I had to do that, though. Like, something was dying, and I had to dive into its mind to get, like, some random piece of information before it died.
Happened twice.
I'm like, well,
one was
there's
the
more
Jacaro,
insanity
and one was a
points.
prisoner who you executed.
Yeah, that was your fault. You gave it, like...
No, because there was more times than that. Because one of the times I did it knowing full well what was going to happen, and I got, like, a bonus XP for it or something like that, because it was, like, heroic or something.
She's only dying because you traumatized her.
Which one? I don't remember that. I don't know. I forget about people that die in my way.
Someone asked her to relive in great detail the moment that she got attacked by the Dark Eldar.
Oh, that was the third time. Yeah, that was the third time. Yeah,
that was an accident, though.
Yeah, he wasn't in her mind though.
He was just
like, oh,
I feel
these
like...
things that tortured you and left you, like, strung up, defleshed on the side of a ship bulkhead with all your friends. Did it look like this? Hold up the helmet of one of them that attacked you. And I was like, yeah, she fucking recognizes it. She goes into tachycardia.
We could have blamed this on Carolinus, though, because he didn't give her enough opiates. Like, I thought she was, like, in Happy Land, like, she's getting ready to die. And so I'm just like, all right, she's nice and doped up. Have you seen this thing? And then, like, she goes into coronary arrest. I'm like, Carolinus, why didn't you give her more heroin, man? Give her more space heroin. Come on, morphine.
Was it you who then shot her in the head like, oh, well, this is, I guess, the best solution?
Yeah, I mean, we could spend time pointing fingers and dicking around and waiting for her to die slowly, or I can just end this real fast and give her an honorable death in the Emperor's eyes. And so there you go. I release you. You've served the Emperor well. Zap.
We never even made her into a servo skull.
It's great being in the 40K universe because you can do all kinds of shit, and inside the universe, people are like, yeah, it's a good death. She died serving the Emperor, so you didn't let her suffer any longer. I'm like, see? Just shoot him in the head real fast, and in this universe, people are like, a good death.
Well, yeah, she was definitely going to die, so...
Another favorite Shen moment would be when he threw a vending machine through the windshield of a car to end a car chase.
I was going to bring that up.
It was like, so oh yeah, you're not armed because you're going around your daily life. You're like, is there an object near? I was like, yeah, there's like a couple of vending machines that are bolted to the ground. I try and pick it up. What's the strength? High. Roll it. Yeah, you.
And it worked too. It didn't even fuck it up. Like I could have imagined that could have gone around in so many ways. Like you accidentally hit a Lone Star vehicle. Just could have been all sorts of things that go wrong. Not worked.
Maltesers everywhere.
I guess my favorite would be the pineapple episode, I think, where we were exchanging a lot of gifts back and forth and then like buying each other pizza. I was buying you pizza and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's probably my favorite Shen interaction.
Pizza. Fucking pineapple so pizza.
I just love the gifts back and forth and stuff like that. It was fun.
Oh yeah. I assume that's going to become far more common as we go forward. I mean, I'm already doing that all day long on my phone, just emoji everything.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think text is really hard to express emotion in, so I think like those things add that element to it that you wouldn't normally get through text, and things that get lost, right? Like sarcasm and things like that. So it's like being able to add like a kappa face or something like that in front of things helps.
It's like the aliens that state their states of mind before they speak.
Badassfully.
The Elcor.
Die, heretic scum. Regretfully, he was my friend.
Aww.
We just done that, but with smiley faces.
Smiley face. Thank you for coming to my party. Every time I see like an emoji, I just want to read it in like a Elcor voice. Sticky out tongue. Me too.
You should make an Elcor emoji pack.
Aww.
Yes.
That'd be so cute.
I've got two favorite Shen things. The first one is when Shen was playing Pug in Season 1, and it was near the end when he got bit by the awakened bugs or whatever, and we rolled on a table to see what happened to him when he got bit by the irradiated bugs or by the awakened bugs or whatever it was, and they basically got him hooked on Nova Coke, I think it was. And so he goes like, he's high out of his mind on like cocaine from being bit by cocaine-infused mosquitoes. And he just goes on a rampage of like eating marshmallows and just like tearing the camp apart, trying to get the marshmallows. But at the same time, when the mosquitoes bit him, they also gave him an allergy to everything with soy in it.
Yeah.
And so he's Nova Coked out of his mind, just eating everything. And everything in the sixth world is made out of soy. Like you can't eat anything in the sixth world that isn't soy. It's all soy. And so he's like on this giant marshmallow bender while he's high out of his mind on cocaine. And he doesn't even know he's high on cocaine. He's just like, I'm so hyped about marshmallows right now.
And used up all the medical supplies
and
stopping him from killing himself.
Every 5 minutes from that point on, he's like, no, you can't talk right now because your tongue is swollen, your lips are swollen, and everything's just inflamed.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, we give him a shot of adrenaline. Cool, okay, that stops. I eat another marshmallow. Okay, you can't talk again. I give him another shot of adrenaline. Okay, you can talk again. I eat another marshmallow. Okay, you are now out of adrenaline. You cannot talk. There's nothing you can do.
And then I'd say probably the second one is all of Dark Heresy, in all honesty, because Dark Heresy, the campaign itself, more or less the tone was set by Shen. simply based on the fact that Shen was the only hardliner in the group, and so it without somebody in the group kind of being the dissenting figure, the entire season was made because half of the group couldn't trust the other half of the group, and that's what made the playthrough so interesting, is that both sides were actively just like sabotaging each other and like fucking with each other like nonstop. Like every action on me and Carolinus' side was anti-Garrick, and then everything on his side was anti-us, and it made an interesting campaign because like the group was split in half, and both sides have no reason to cooperate with one another, but we have to under like pain of death by edict of the like Empire. And so like we're basically the entire time just trying to sabotage the other group of people enough to get them like off the team and like murdered. And it just made the whole campaign really interesting because you couldn't speak your mind with the group. You couldn't do anything publicly with the group, essentially. Like everything was back behind closed doors. It was either Heresy Bros or, you know, it was Iron Hand trying to convince Brander to be on his side the whole time. Like everything was sabotage, like saboteur, subterfuge, that entire playthrough just because of it. And if it hadn't been that way, it would have been a really smooth playthrough. But then I think that's what that's what injected the majority of the intrigue into the campaign, was just that Iron Hand was such a pain in the ass to deal with for me and Carolinus, where it was just like, we can't do anything around this guy without him snitching on us. Have you been snitching on him? Yeah, we've been snitching on him too. It's just both sides snitching on each other nonstop, trying to get the other side excommunicated.
It was really apparent in the comments on Twitch chat. Really apparent how many people did not get that was like, we were playing around with each other. We were playing a game here. We're having fun with each other.
It wasn't like out of character. It was just the way the personalities lined up, is that you've got Carolinus and you've got Cassius, who are very liberal inquisitors, like super kind of radical dudes who are willing to try new stuff because...
Radical dude.
Well, it's like both of them have been a part of the Empire, and the Empire says, no, all these things are bad, but we keep coming across things that they say are bad that end up being beneficial to us, and so we're like, so they're lying to us. So maybe we should just inch the line a little bit further forward in exchange for like efficiency and doing things better. And then on the opposite end, you've got Garrett and Brander, who are just kind of like, I don't know about this, but Brander's kind of like on the edge, so he's the wild card, and if we can bring him over to our side, Garrett's fucked. And if Garrett can bring him over to his side, then he's got a stalemate in the group with like a 50-50 vote. And so it's just like this constant tug of war on Brander, trying to bring him to one side or the other. And it was all in character. Like none of it was out of character. But I think they read into that as like a Roll4It turmoil, when in fact it was more of a Dark Heresy turmoil, like in character. And so it was one of those interesting things about that campaign that we haven't really replicated very well.
Difficult with long-term, very difficult with long-term PvP for it to be not aggravating to the players themselves, like to think someone is like, oh, you're just trying to dick me over a bit too much or whatever. But that actually carried it perfectly. I think that would be how I would say that perfect long-term PvP intrigue worked. I did not expect that going in. I did not write that as that way going in.
It's the setting for it too, because in D&D and Shadowrun you have the out where if you have a person who's an outlier, you can be like, fuck that, I don't work with them anymore. And the party can just like disband and leave because there's nothing holding them in that place. Whereas in Dark Heresy, the Inquisition is like, you are a team, shut up and like it or we'll kill you all. And so like if you have this person in the party that everybody does not get along with, it doesn't matter because they will burn you at the stake if you don't work with them. Whereas in every other setting, you couldn't have like a long-term intrigue like that. In Dark Heresy, you can because your hands are tied. You're forced.
I in our like D&D campaign, we have one character who's like that too, who we just don't get along with as much.
So blow him up.
And it works.
Well, that's the thing. That's where like after
there's
a long
stuff
time
that's tying us together, so we can't, you know.
And
then as we've gotten further, as we've gotten further into it, like the progression is that we've kind of semi become friends, but you know, like there's still like that weird distrust with that one character. So I don't know. It can work. It is harder, I think.
I have to think the best thing about the RP there was that was a very difficult one to RP because you had to make sure that you weren't just like dicking over people when you're snitching on them, but you're doing it in character and it didn't upset the balance of a game so much, or it didn't bleed over to like people getting annoyed. And it worked really, really well. And like Shen, when was the first time you started role-playing?
With the show on Shadowrun Season 1.
So that was like literally the second session, the second
Dude, you
series.
Killed it for that being your first ever roleplay.
Well, I wanted to try it. Like
my roommate
plays 3 different Dungeons and Dragons sessions every week. So he's been doing this for years, and he got me interested in it. And Avax said, "Hey, you should come play with these guys." I'm like, "Okay, I'll try it out." It's been a lot of fun. It's been a blast. I really appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Yeah, you're fantastic at it. If that's your first time too, like you out of the race cart, you were already killing it. He's like gonna cry.
We're getting the feels. You're getting the feels. Oh. I don't know, man, but especially the Dark Heresy was just absolutely superb role-playing from everyone involved, and I absolutely like adored that, because that was so... I didn't write it that way. I wrote it as in, I imagine the entire group would probably go radical slowly. I'd find a biting point where it's too radical, maybe try and push over the edge a little bit, see where you would break as a group, but the group kind of wrote its own inner turmoil, and that was more important than the outer story. The outer story was just a setting for what happened, and that worked so beautifully.
I think it worked out quite well because you kept putting us in situations where we had the choice whether to radicalize or go hardline. You put the choices in the episodes, especially when it came to like fighting the books. And it's like, well, shit, there's only two of us here. If we're both going to go a little bit heretic, now's the time to do it. And you did it. And it's like, great, there you go.
No, they both went heretic, but they didn't tell the other one. They were like, yeah, I destroyed that book. Yeah, I destroyed mine too. And they're both there being heretics, being like, I don't know if you're a heretic. I can't tell you. It took them like another 8 sessions or tons of sessions.
I got a fucking free side point. I'll go as heretic as you want for a free side point. That shit's expensive.
Oh my god, it was so funny. But I guess this is a good place to wrap the after show as anywhere. Thank you very much for everyone watching. Thank you very much for supporting the show, and thank you, Shen, for being an amazing part of it so long. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Roll safe.
Bye-bye.